I pretty much declared the end of the Mountain West portion when we came down the mountain out of the high plains of central New Mexico into the Rio Grande Valley. There was one night where we stayed in a ghost town because storms prevented us from getting anywhere else. Tried a 72-ounce steak challenge. They call it a Big Texan Amarillo. We each got done about 50 ounces of steak. Couldn't finish the challenge. During the 4th of July, we took off in a little RV park, and they had an old car show going there, so we had a chance to take a ride in the car.
Hey, did you pass these folks on the road? I passed them. You might have preceded them, but they left Los Lunas yesterday. I think we ought to put our chairs out here. So nice, isn't it? We can have our cocktail party out here. Yeah. Okay, we have the trade is consummated here. The trade of the Model T Ford and the 2 bicycles, yes. Robert Siglet says yes, that'll do. Jeff and Amy says yes, we'll take it.
That's right. Wow. As you're traveling around the country, if you find any that are for sale at a good price.
Yeah, but just looking over there saying, come on, Reed. Come this way. Come this way.
Then Kansas, we went through Kansas in one of the worst heat waves ever. It was 112, 113 degrees some days with very high humidity. It made it feel kind of worse than the Mojave Desert. Adding on that extra humidity as you get into eastern Kansas was pretty tough. And we stayed with a farmer that baled hay there one night. There's all these grain factories nearby, and they were just having that horrible drought. Rivers all dried up all around. It was pretty tough to see. A lot of farmers were putting their crops in early in the year. They were just plowing them in. The crops were a failure. So biking through all this and talking to these people, these farmers, we're pretty isolated with something else. We saw a prairie fire at one point that was pretty crazy. I mean, the winds were going 30 or 40 miles an hour. You get this really hot wind out of the south, and one dry lightning strike will just set this whole place ablaze. It's pretty crazy to see from your bicycle. We are in Coldwater, Kansas. We have a prairie fire that started about 2 hours ago, down about 10 miles south of town, and it grew very fast with these very fast winds here.
Everybody's within an earshot, and we can just roll our chairs.
Oh, that's a really cool design. Wow.
So we've always got the TVs going. Usually we'll have one of the national networks showing as well.
It's pretty extreme. I mean, it's up in a lot of these are in the exceptional drought.
Exceptional drought range.
Yeah, and plus with the heat, I mean, especially out in western Kansas, has just been. Well, the whole area out here is really bad. Western Texas, there were some people I knew down here, and I'll down in western side. I can't remember where it's not Amarillo, but it's south of there.
Right.
Just telling me they've gotten 3,200 of an inch since September.
The only 2 cases of road rage, might you say, that we had on the whole trip occurred near Kansas and Missouri on the border there. Just a coincidence, for whatever reason. One person kind of held down the horn and rode right up against us with his middle finger up. In another case, just a guy kind of cursing us off. But generally, drivers across the whole entire United States were really nice, and generally we had great interaction with people. There was never any threatening moments. A lot of times we would camp out in little town parks through the kind of Midwest Great Plains area, high desert, and still doing people's backyards here and there. We're just spending a lot of money on food. A lot of money is getting spent on food. You just burn through the calories, and somewhere either in here or I guess working our way into the Midwest, we started a tradition of kind of doing buffets every here and there. It's nice to have a buffet to kind of fuel up a little bit. Surprisingly, Kansas was not flat. There were quite a few hills in Kansas, the Gypsum Hills, the Flint Hills. Nothing big, no major mountains, but a lot of hills that they go up and down and they really wear on you. I knew it'd be an interesting night in Chihuahua. One of the first things out of one guy's mouth was, "We're Hicks, we don't care what we wear. I'm wearing an Adidas shirt and I haven't run a day in my life." Here's Chihuahua.
Come back, Oh no, you're dressed very appropriate. Come on right over here, stand by me, you'll be fine.
I want to be like.
No, you'll be fine, stand right here by
Look
me.
at you guys, ripped up riches. And
Anything with it he wants, remember? I might just quit smoking right now. Tosh.0, here I come.
Ken and I talked a lot about the history of America, from the presidents to the banking system that we've put in place. Some of his ideas are pretty radical, but given the debt of the country and that our education system is far behind a lot of other countries, I think it's worth to consider some other ideas.
Yes.
Are you arresting my new friend?
No.
Okay.
This is good stuff. This is what I was looking for.
Dude, he's full of fucking intelligence.
That's all I came for.
He's a master of all and everything about nothing, I guess.
And we're getting it all right here, yeah.
Okay. So 50% of our job creation in this country comes from immigrants. Okay? Immigrants who come into this country who are better educated. For some reason, we receive the best brains in the world into this country, and then we educate their children into becoming non-achievers. We didn't used to have problems with children. When everybody walked up the street to the same church, everybody had the same social standard in the neighborhood. We have gotten to a point where our protection of childhood has meant we no longer treat them as becoming adults. We have created the longest running childhood in the history of the planet. By the time you're 50, you're still in your childhood. In the late 1800s, it was not necessarily great that children were in the factories working and being made. But when you look at the fact that children grew up working with their parents, when they were out in the farm, when they were out at the social events, when they were all together all the time, they weren't put in a box. They were being civilized and becoming adults because they were always a part of the society. They weren't separated out of it. Instead of shipped off to little prison cells and presented books and told, you have to read this. Work was play because you were imitating your parents. We've lost that. We no longer know what the eye color is of the guy next door. We may not even know his name. We get up at 5 in the morning, get ready, drive to work. We spend 8 hours there, plus lunch, plus whatever we've got to do after we get off work, and drive back, and then get ready and leave home to drive to entertainment or what class or whatever we're doing that evening. And then we drive home to go to bed and make sure that the kids did their homework by telling them they'd better have it done. On a 10th grade education, my grandfather was a jockey. He was into auto racing. He was the son of a blacksmith. He received a gold watch from the Racing Association of America for his contributions to the development of the carburetor. He, from what I understood, assisted in the development of American tanks during World War II. From there, he went on to work for McDonnell Douglas and was a part of the aerospace industry's development of the Apollo projects as a system design inspecting engineer. He did this on a 10th grade education. Our push in education, our push for controlled development in education has created less and less and less education. The more we have controlled it, the less that it has educated. We don't need schools. What we need are centers of learning. We don't need prisons for our children where they're kept in their box and presented things they don't understand a relevance for. What we need are life experiences. What we need is what the Greeks would have called a gymnasia, okay? Where you have a place to go and exercise, a place to go and study, a place to go and discuss, and people to learn from. And we have an internet. There is no reason why we can't take what used to be called the YMCA, what is today an electronic classroom, and put it in every community in this country. And there's nothing we can't teach to any age group. It doesn't matter whether you're 4 or 40 or 80. You should be able to walk in and study.
I was always told, 4 months in July ought to be new time. And I've seen it hit high.
If it's relevant to what you need to do today, you should be able to go get it.
Out there in the park. Whoever has that patch of corn.
I've been on the road though,
Yeah.
and I've seen some decent corn.
That's it.
When we, as a small town of 320, sent in and started this project, we would get back things from the state to do. Okay, we would get back stacks of paperwork. Okay, now that's fine for Kansas City, for St. Louis. The federal bureaus, they have a staff. We don't have a staff. When they require us to go out and find every above and below ground tank, fuel tank, and take a picture of it within 1 mile of the city limits, to drive around, we don't have a staff. We have to work completely by volunteers. Okay, and when they give us X number of days to have this done or the project is lost, okay, we lose an $800,000 opportunity to get decent drinking water. When they set up a system that only caters to large urban environments and abandon rural America because of a lack of consideration for what we cannot have a staff. This is how we become a third world country. The biggest problem is that during heavy recessions, since they don't like the word depression, all of those skills and resources that were natural in this environment, where people were independently resourceful, are gone. As we lose the ability to spin our own wool, as we lose the ability to make our own cloth, as we lose the ability to can our own foods, okay, we lose that self-sufficiency and become completely dependent on corporations who may not be able to function, who may close because of economic disparities.